surface actually welds to this surface. Sometimes there's a little space, sometimes there's not. There's inconsistencies in the bed bulkhead width. So I'll see how it fits. It's all based on getting the tailgate and the bulkhead to match up so that it's square. And honestly, beat it to fit and paint it to match. When this stuff's this flimsy, you get away with quite a bit. But first things first, I'm going to take that outrigger off, which used to be a body mount platform. Also, this was, and so was this, back when this was an SUV. So let me get those off, and then we'll trim that down and get these sides up. Gas monkey style. I'm gonna say that's close. I still got to get this right, and this right, and this right. But at least now I can see what I need to do. And it's not terrible. Obviously I got to do my center to the bulkhead, and I'll get this sectioned before I set it. But what I'm seeing now, and I know there's no weight in the back, but what I'm seeing now is the cab, the front body line, and the floor pan are all together. I need to raise the torsion keys on the front of the suspension because you can't just pick up the front fenders. You'll have a kink in the middle. So I want this body line better, and the way I'm going to get it is put maybe an inch in between here and the height that it's at, and this will raise the cab, lessening the overall kink in the beginning. And I don't want any kink. I want it to be butter smooth. I'm reasonably content. Like I said, I love the way this one's going together. I made a couple of minor repairs to that so that the fender well, this whole side was crushed in. So I've been working that metal, trying to get that to sit in a more natural position. One of the other things I need to do is, see this bumper, believe it or not, I'm going to do my best to straighten it out. And as you can see, much like the tailgate, it is in fantastic shape. And of course I'm kidding. I also want to go under there and turn the torsion keys to give it that little bit of an inch on the front before I go directing the entire attitude of the truck. I want the front 100% right, and then the rest will follow suit. It'll be very simple, actually. And with a quick turn of the torsion keys, which would be these bolts here, one on each side, the tighter they are, the more tension they put on this torsion bar, which holds, it acts as a spring and it holds the whole truck up. So if you loosen those, it takes the tension off this bar and it'll drop the truck. And what's cool about them is you can adjust your ride height. So now that's good for the test drive, and I don't believe they'll rub because they barely rubbed before. And I put them up at least an inch. We can get more if we need it. All right, I got them cut, I got them marked, I got that tacked into place. And now I have to take about 7 inches out of the side of this, and then I'm gonna weld it to this. Other than some fine tuning, that's actually how I like it. I think it's gonna be sweet once I get the running boards on there and the doors put back on. I've got a lot of patch welding to do along the seams and anchor the bed properly, but don't look in there right now, we don't care about that. we'll get to that. First things first, I'm gonna smooth out some of the stuff on the tailgate yet and just make it overall better fit and finish. But yeah, pretty cool. We've got the bed, cab, and front clip locked into permanent position. Today I'm going to go through and weld all the seams all the way around, the firewall, the drain outside, and get the floor buttoned up. That's today. It'll take all day and some of tomorrow. We still have the running boards to section. They're too long, because if you remember, I took some out of the side of the truck there. I still have to finish welding that. But basically you just measure between this wheel well and that wheel well and go all the way across. And then you make this that length, and then they'll fit. So we have that, and like I said, the stance of these trucks, it's so cool. This thing looks like it just looks aggressive, you know. That's awesome. The tailgate came out real nice. I mean, that's plenty good. It's plenty strong. You can sit on it. And this thing, it'll tow like 7,000 pounds or 7,500, I think these Durangos will tow. So this is a good machine now. Two-wheel drive, hook up a trailer, drag it all the way to California. That's what we like about this stuff. It's reliable. You put the key in, you don't worry about it. You just make sure it's got fuel and run it all the way to wherever and turn around and run it back fast. It's not like driving an old truck where you're like, the carburetor doesn't like this temperature on this grade on this day. Carburetors are stupid. They had their time and their place. They're done. Fuel injection on old trucks is brilliant. Electric, honestly, I know it's coming, but electric can kiss my ass. Gasoline forever. We've got the running boards mocked up into position. I need to weld the brackets for those, finish welding the seam on the bed. I've got the firewall and cab 100% welded, supported, and seam sealed. I still need to make sense of all this mess by putting a radiator in there and a battery tray and mount the ECU and the air filter and the fuse block mounts and the tabs for grounds. As you can see, those locking pliers holding the ground tabs in place. But that's basically what we're going to end up with. It'll just be a lot more full here in a minute. That's a universal heater core for the defrost and the heat. And then I'll get the headlights put in when it's time. But meanwhile, I've been a busy beaver. Overflow tank, got to get that put in. Radiators in, got to do hose clamps, got to do that heater core. But the battery tray, the ECU mount, everything is in, the fan, all of that. I got to do the overflow bottle, but we'll get the heater core put in somewhere in there. Put the doors on, a few other little odds and ends like the front bumper, and this thing is getting parked outside. That's it for today. I'll be right back. This truck is ready for a road test. I just need to flip the hinges around on the hood so it'll latch properly. We had some heavy winds last night, so I locked that down. So that's gonna about do it for this truck, and I can tell you that it really hasn't been on the road for more than a mile or so, and the reason is there's no interior. I gotta get seats for it. It's been cold and rainy. It's been sitting here a few weeks. So right now what I'm gonna do is connect this battery. This hood opens from both sides, isn't that cool? I'm gonna connect this battery. I like to leave them disconnected when they're new builds, you know. There you go. All right, let's see if it fires up. down in it. I'll get a couple of little tack welds finished up and also some tail lights, and then we'll take this thing out on the road. Now, if you're a little late to the party and you don't remember exactly how this got here, go back and take a look at the full-length episode on the build. This is a 2007 Hemi Durango, two-wheel drive underneath, and the thing does wicked burnouts, so be sure to check that out. I encourage you to go back and look at all the videos on this channel because there's a lot of amazing content that just seems to fly a little bit under the radar. Some of it's cheese, some of it's good, but either way, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks. You want to see this on the road? Come on back. We're going to do some in-car and some more burnouts. Thanks. I'll see you soon.